welcome back. Today we learned that the government and the expert groups, expert advisory group to the government are now mulling the possibility of mixing two brands of vaccine. If you've got a dose of Covishield, can you get a dose of any other vaccine? Which vaccines would work in that matter? Can it be any brand, or can it be Covaxin? Can it be a Pfizer? Can it be a Moderna vaccine that gels together? Now, there is a lot of movement, studies, trials on this mixing and matching of vaccines that has happened internationally. And so our government is also contemplating whether we should similarly carry out a study in our country or what are our options. Let me just, without wasting any more time, say good evening to the two panelists who are joining us right now. Dr. Arora, Executive Director for INCLEN and Chairman of the COVID-19 Working Group National Technical Advisory on Immunization, joins us this evening, and Dr. Polly Roy, Professor and Chair of Virology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine at University of London, is with us. Dr. Roy, if I can start off with you, because we understand that in United Kingdom, trials have been expanded because the initial results of this mix and match were very encouraging. Can you help us understand what has happened? What do the studies really show?
It is always, for vaccine, it is always good to have two doses, most vaccines, and two doses are heterologous. That means different types. Generally is always better for immune response because they don't have to see the same type of vaccine twice. But at the same time, you have to trigger the antibody about the SARS protein. Here is spike. So how it is delivered is very important. So in this case, AstraZeneca's vaccines that used one type of adenovirus vector to deliver the spike protein, which will then trigger the antibody, neutralizing antibody specifically. But if you then add the same one again, it may have some interference because that will trigger also a little bit of adenovirus-based antibody, and that is one of the problems. And also we have known that some people, very rare, have some side effects such as blood clot. But then the question is, if you do a second one completely different, which is in this case, RNA, messenger RNA-based vaccines, but same spike you are delivering, and it has to be for immune response, for immune cells, should be very good because they don't see twice, say, the lipid of the delivery of the messenger RNA vaccine of the Pfizer, or they don't see the adeno twice. So it should be mixed matching will be very good for getting absolutely robust neutralizing antibody. So at the same time, it also seems that you will have some T cell response, particularly for mRNA vaccines. So the idea of heterologous prime boost is not a new thing, and it is expected it will do better in every case, in every vaccine. It has been shown before for Ebola also, and in a lot of animal vaccines, it has been shown also. So it expected that way. So I was not surprised to see when I saw that very good enhanced antibody was raised in the vaccinated people with these two types. So that gives a very strong inspirations and positiveness about what we have in India now. Because India, you have two very good vaccines. One is AstraZeneca type Covishield. Other one is this inactivated vaccine from Biotech, which is a Covaxin. So if you have both of them available, not one too much and one other one less, you can actually mix match those very easily. And I'm absolutely sure you're going to get very similar type of results as far as the protective neutralizing antibody. So it is a very, very good way to also solve the problem that you don't get one type of vaccine too many doses. If you have two different kinds, that's fine. Also, if you have RNA vaccines such as Pfizer's or Moderna, or protein vaccines such as Novavax, will be very good. All of them will mix match. and we'll do better. I'm absolutely sure about that, because that's what the virology tells us, and that was the immunology tells us.
Okay. Okay, very interesting. So let me take this point forward with what Dr. Roy has said to Dr. Arora. Dr. Arora, basis what studies have shown internationally, what seems to be a possibility for us? We have the same AstraZeneca vaccine, but can it match and be mixed with Covaxin? Will we have to look at other international candidates? Do shed some light.
So, thank you very much, and I thank you for inviting Professor Roy also. So the point he's raising is absolutely right. We have 6 platforms for COVID vaccines. And fortunately, most of the vaccines platforms are in various stages of development in India also. And this mix and match is not only biologically important strategy, but also from a programmatic perspective, because every vaccine, for example, in India, if we have 5 or 6 vaccines at any time, and if we have good scientific data, if somebody gets vaccine A and travels to another area, the person can get B, provided there is good scientific evidence that there is a immunological complementarity as well as enhancement in a way that provides benefit to the vaccine recipient. And so as a beginning, as very rightly said, the initial experiments are with Covishield or AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccine. So we have this option not only for Covishield and inactivated Covaxin. Within next 4 weeks, we have a DNA vaccine, and that may also be one of the vaccines which can be mixed and matched. Then our own mRNA vaccine should be available by the end of August or somewhere in September. So, and then there is another dimension, which is subunit vaccine or recombinant protein-based vaccine. So there are several options. There is, at the moment, immediately the program is not proposing based on any other data, because currently the only data available is this mix and match between Covishield and Pfizer. But I think studies will have to be done with various vaccines from various platforms, because unless that is there, so theoretically it's a good approach, but we will have to generate evidences that these mixing and matching is for the benefit of the individual as well as for the community in terms of the vaccines, overall vaccines efficacy in interrupting the transmission, because currently most of the vaccines are not as effective in interrupting the transmission as one would have liked to be. So this is a very fertile area for research, and I'm sure our country will be initiating and mounting such studies in due course of time.
Well, it's actually very interesting, and if it happens, so much more benefits can come out of it for people who are traveling within the country from one place to the other, where one vaccine brand may be available and the other isn't, or even those who travel internationally, students who go from one place to the other and get one vaccine in their own home country, but they then have to travel abroad, can at least end up looking at different examples. And I hope at some point this is like a larger global exchange of research and data that takes place. But Dr. Arora, very quickly then, if we have to look at this seriously, will we need to carry out our own trials in the country, or can we really look at the data that other countries may already have?
So it is not necessary to do every trial here. You're right, and that's what is totally correct. But at the moment, for example, the trial outside is with Pfizer, mRNA vaccine, and Covishield. We have only one of these vaccines, so we cannot translate or bring this experience in this country at the moment. So, as very rightly suggested by Professor Roy, that the issue of Covaxin so I think as soon as we are in a little better position in terms of current vaccine issues. There is the discussion is to initiate initiate some kind of a research program very soon in future, in next, I would say, a few weeks or a month, maybe maximum. But we are planning, because in fact
Okay, very interesting.
our problem is more complicated than other countries, because we envisage that by the end of this year we are going to have 5, 6 or 7 vaccines in the program. So for us it is even a bigger requirement than many other countries.
Correct, absolutely, because then more than any other country in the world with the population of our kind, we do need a lot more options, we do need a lot more doses, and for many more brands, so which is why this will also become very important. Dr. Polly Roy and Dr. Arora, thank you so much to both of you for joining me and helping us understand what exactly is it that we're looking at, how will it work out, and what does the international studies suggest. So there you go, you've heard it from two of the biggest experts on what we found internationally, and the results have been encouraging. Many countries, in fact France, Germany, have already said that this is a good option. US seems to be a little hesitant about it. United Kingdom is also carrying out detailed studies. In April they were a little hesitant, but now they're also looking at digging more and more and exploring this option more, and so is our country. You heard Dr. Arora say in the coming weeks, hopefully, we will see some more conversation around it and a decision on how to go about it. So, there could be a day in the near future where you take one Covishield and another Sputnik, one Covishield and another Moderna or Pfizer. We don't know which combinations would work out, but let's hope it happens soon. Thank you for joining us.